The top 10 from last week almost entirely obliterated. Only 2 titles managed to survive. We're going to find out what those titles are and our brand new number 1 coming right up. Hello everybody and welcome to another weekly countdown of the top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan. This covering the week of September 17th to the 23rd of 2018. I'm Justus Stone, and on this channel I do all things light novels, countdowns like this one, as well as news, reviews, and the light novel podcast gets posted here as well. So if you're new to light novels or you love light novels, you should consider subscribing. Now, like I said, not a lot remains on the list this week from last week. For some of these titles, we do have stuff available in English, whether it be the light novel themselves, or the manga, or the anime. So I'm going to put links in the description down below if you want to check out any of the stuff that we have officially licensed in English for some of these titles. So starting at number 10, and this with 4,252 copies sold, volume number 2 of Kage no Tsukaite. This one not available in any way in English. I mean, it's a relatively new series. There's only, of course, 2 volumes. This one, nothing really available even information-wise in English, so I'm going off kind of a really brutal Google translation. Basically, what this sounds like is we have a character who is summoned to another world to fight the Demon Lord. Shocking, I know, but the stick on this one is that the main character decides he's not interested. He just wants to have a peaceful life. So he pieces out and goes and hides and, tries to hone his skills and improve his skills so that he can survive on his own. While meanwhile, the people, of course, who summoned him are none too pleased with him taken off. So they try to figure out how they can get him back, which prompts him to do what he can to live as a shadow. Kind of interesting, I guess, in terms of this whole idea of, it's sort of a growing trend we're seeing, I think, a little bit more in Isekai novels, is this whole idea of the summoned hero actually rejecting their sort of fate or their mission that they've been summoned to. Don't see it a lot in a lot of the Isekai titles that we currently have in English. I think probably Ari Ferretta is one of the closest that we have. And in terms of like the magic in this other world is too far behind, that one, the summoned hero still does the mission, but it focuses on someone who was summoned sort of accidentally, working against kind of that whole helping out and everything else. So we've seen it a little bit, but not quite as clear-cut as it sounds like this one is. If you've got any knowledge in Japanese and you want to take a look at this and sort of double-check what I'm getting off of Google, I'd really appreciate it, and you can leave that in the comments down below. At number 9, with 4,916 copies sold, Perfect Darling. Now again, this is a series that there's really nothing available in terms of information in English. It does appear artwork-wise to be kind of a shoujo, perhaps even a yuri type novel, and when I read you sort of what Google gave me, you'll get an idea. A very ordinary college student, Minato lover, as the next chief of a major ship, Enzo Francesco Valzini, the captain of the world's luxurious passenger liner. Sailing the 7 seas, love with him is full of sweet and thrilling adventures like honey. Yes, this is Google Translate. Special episode collection of the strongest mega hit, Love, Falling in Love with the Sea Nobility. So it sounds like, I guess there's sort of an ongoing series, and it sounds like it's about love on the high seas, and I guess this is maybe short story collections. I really don't know. Again, if any of you want to lend your knowledge, feel free to do so in the comments down below. At number 8, with 5,961 copies sold, this is one of the titles that survives from last week, and that is Natsume no Yuujinchou, Utsusemi ni Musubu. This is from Natsume's Book of Friends. It is the adaptation of the feature film, which just opened up in Japan, actually. I just saw on Anime News Network this morning that it dominated the box office in Japan. This series is actually a manga, which is the source material. We do have that released by Viz in English, and also there is a 74-episode anime series which streams on Crunchyroll. And this one, of course, about a boy who can see spirits and inherits this book from his grandmother and basically discovers that it contains contracts which bind the spirits, and so he sets out to free those spirits from the contracts. I've heard from a number of you that it's a really good series and just a very kind of chill type of series to watch. Haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I certainly want to. At number 7, with 6,918 copies sold, Kaguya-sama wa Kokurasetai. This one, it sounds like it's actually a novelization of a manga series that's been ongoing. Considered a genius due to having the highest grades in the country, Miyuki Shirogane leads the prestigious Shuchin Academy's student council as its president, working alongside the beautiful and wealthy vice president, Kaguya Shinomiya. The two are often regarded as the perfect couple by students, despite them not being in any sort of romantic relationship. However, the truth is that after spending so much time together, the two have developed feelings for one another. Unfortunately, neither is willing to confess, as doing so would be a sign of weakness. With their pride as elite students on the line, Miyuki and Kaguya embark on a quest to do whatever is necessary to get a confession out of the other. Through their daily antics, the battle of love begins. Now this one, apparently there's like 2.4 million copies of the manga in print. This is the first novel that is based on the series. It looks to me, just based on sort of what Google says, that it looks like this is an original story from that series. It's not like necessarily an adaptation. Again, if any of you are familiar with this title, feel free to let me know a little bit more in the comments down below. And, if you want to take a look at this and sort of just confirm, but like I said, it looks like, and we've seen this a number of times, like Trinity 7, I remember recently had the same thing, where it has light novels that are original stories, but of course it's all based and in the same universe as the source material, which is the manga. At number 6, with 7,059 copies sold, this is the second and last survivor from last week, and that is volume 23 of Accel World. This one, of course, by Reiki Kawahara, the author of Sword Art Online, which is just about to get a brand new season of anime starting, well, I guess in the next couple of days. This particular series is licensed for release in English by Yen On. They released volume 15 on September 18th. There was a 24-episode anime plus a couple of OVAs. It was licensed for English release by Viz. The anime adapted basically volumes 1 to 4. It did include some material from the short story volume that was later on in the series, but pretty much volumes 1 to 4. There was also a feature film released, and that was an original story that Reiki Kawahara wrote expressly for the screen. So again, if you want to check out these titles, I will leave a link to Amazon in the description down below. At number 5, with 7,098 copies sold, it's a new series, but not exactly a new series, and that is Madan no o to Michelia, Lord Marksman and Michelia. Now, you may be familiar, there was a title called Lord Marksman and Vanadis, or No Vanadis. This apparently is a spin-off of that series, but it's an alternate timeline. So it involves same characters, but their relationships are different. The political spectrum is different. It's kind of like an alt-reality retelling of the original series. Now, I've seen a couple of places where it sounds like this is just a one-off, a single standalone volume. When I was looking at the wiki for Vanadis, it made it sound like perhaps this is going to be a series, Or maybe it's kind of both. It's a standalone, but if it does really well, maybe there'll be more. I don't know. So if you're familiar with the original source material, this one, I guess now it is changing relationships, and there is a character called Michelia, and she is going to be the love interest in this one instead. At number 4, with 7,230 copies sold, volume number 9 of World Teacher, Isekaishiki Kyouiku Agent. Or, roughly in English, it is World Teacher, Otherworld Style Education and Agent. There's no English license for this one. A man who was once called the world's strongest agent ended up becoming a teacher after his retirement to train the new generation of agents. After many years of training his disciples, he is killed at the age of 60 by the plot of a secret organization and was reincarnated in another world with all his past memories. Though he was surprised by the magic and the strange species of this world, he adapted very fast to his condition as a newborn and took advantage of it. He acquired special magic and gained a massive amount of strength thanks to his tight discipline in order to reach his goal, resume his career as a teacher, which he left halfway through in his previous life. This is the story of a man who, based on the memories and the experiences of his previous life, became a teacher who travels through the world with his new students. So, of course, another reincarnation Isekai type series. I kind of wonder if this is going to be one of those series where the whole reincarnation aspect, it really is just there to explain why he is so regimented and so disciplined and able to advance so quickly, but will be pretty much brushed under like it won't really play a large part outside of that. It basically sounds like he just becomes really strong and gathers students around him and they go travel the world, and it's, I guess, their adventures as they do so. So I don't know, this one sounds like it could be okay. Again, like, we're seeing sort of a change in the isekais, the unwilling hero, and in this one, someone who really isn't being reborn for any specific reason other than the reason that he decides that he wants to fulfill based on what he wasn't able to do in his previous life. At number 3, with 8,157 copies sold, Volume 14 of Isekai wa Smartphone to Tomo ni, or as we have it in English, In Another World with My Smartphone. This one is licensed for English, released by J Novel Club. They released Volume 10 on September 20th. There was a 12-episode anime which streamed on Crunchyroll and covered Volumes 1 to 3 of the light novel series. This is also going to be the premier launch title for J Novel Club's print editions, which is going to release, I guess, early, I think February, that is, February of 2019. We are going to be getting this in print. This one, after a freak accident involving some lightning winds up zapping him dead, 15-year-old Mochizuki Toya wakes up to find himself face to face with God. I'm afraid to say that I have made a bit of a blunder, laments the old coot. But all is not lost. God says that he can reincarnate Toya into a world of fantasy, and as a bonus, he gets to bring his smartphone along. So begins Toya's adventure in a new, anachronistic, pseudo-medieval world. Friends, laughs, tears, inexplicable deus ex machina. He sets off on a journey full of wonder as he absent-mindedly travels from place to place, following whatever goal catches his fancy. The curtains lift on an epic tale of swords, sorcery, and smartphone apps. I've read the first 2 volumes of this series. It really is one of those, just, you gotta read it just for fun. I mean, it really does kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink. I mean, it's got, yeah, I mean, without spoiling things, it really does have some elements of just about every kind of light novel in it. And I think really the author is just having fun using whatever he feels like and finding a way to make it fit in this crazy world that he's created. So very much like a hard on your sleeve kind of series, and a series that just you really can't take too seriously, but if you don't, it's kind of fun. At number 2, with 9,383 copies sold, volume number 3 of Rokudenashi Majutsu Koushi to Memory Records. This is actually a spin-off of the light novel series Akashic Records of the Bastard Magic Instructor. It consists actually of short stories, which are the special magic lectures of Glenn Rodars. And this is, of course, the third volume of that spin-off series. The main series, we don't have a license for the light novels. We do have a license for the manga, which 4 volumes have been released to date. There was also a 12-episode anime, which was released in North America by Funimation. Sisti attends a magical academy to hone her skills in the magical arts, and hopes to solve the mystery of the enigmatic Sky Castle. After the retirement of her favorite teacher, the replacement, Glenn, turns out to be a tardy, lazy, seemingly incompetent bastard of an instructor. How was it that Glenn was handpicked by the best magician in the academy? So it's a Magic Academy kind of series, and I really don't know much about it, because again, I'd never watched the anime, and because my policy of not to watch any anime based on light novels I haven't read, just in case they do get licensed. At this point, I don't know how likely it is that this one is going to get a license, but, well, nonetheless, I'll hold out and see. The series is really popular. It always is in the top 10, and now including the spin-offs are in the top 10 as well. Finally, at number 1, with 11,999 copies sold, High School DxD, Harem Memorial. This one, of course, it is the High School DxD series. This is actually the celebratory novel of the 10th anniversary of the High School DxD series. So it isn't actually part of the main series, nor is it part of the relaunched series Shin High School DxD, which, as far as I can tell, is just a continuation, but they decided to start at a brand new number 1 because. So this one, I guess it has like bonus material, so it has some unpublished short stories. It also has, I guess, some commentary interviews on the series. I'm sure it probably has some art based on the series. In terms of the main series, we don't have it licensed in English, the light novels. We do have the manga from Yen On. Well, I guess it's Yen Press, technically. There have been 4 seasons of anime, which you can watch. And, yeah, so we're kind of, I think, out of luck getting this series. It's a really long series. It's over, the first series, the first part was 25 volumes. And as I said, Shin High School DxD just seems to be continuing the story. And so it's like restarting. So it could be another, who even knows how many volumes it's going to be. Rumor has it that they just restarted it because the author was being bothered to put out a new number 1. And so he said, fine, here, it's new number 1. So, yeah, there's also been some rumors that perhaps the material might be a little bit different and the tone might be a little different. I'm not too sure, actually. I don't know if anybody's really had a chance to find out a whole lot with the first volume yet. If you have any more ideas, let me know in the description down below. So those are your top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan for the week of September 17th to the 23rd of 2018. Anybody notice the trend that the title this week and the title over the last 2 weeks both featured scantily clad, well, basically naked girls on the front cover? Oh, Japan, I see what you're doing over there. I see you. And I mean, really, do any North American fans disagree? Anybody? Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. Like I said, this week we only have 2 titles surviving from last week's top 10. It'll be interesting to see what manages to survive until next week. And of course, I'll be here to count them down and let you know. So if you're brand new to the channel and you love light novels or you're just getting interested in them, don't forget to subscribe for videos like this, as well as news, reviews, and the light novel podcast as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.